All right. It's that day again, Monday, live in the Counselor's Corner for another open court discussion. I am your host, David Lorenzo Glover, aka the Controversial Counselor. Joining me is my powerful panel. Right now, we only have one member, um, Herb Lewis, the Big Bad Wolf.
Ow!
That wolf seemed like he about that life tonight. Also, who should be joining us is Willie A. Price speaks absolutely nothing but the truth, but according to Netta, half the truth. Christine comes correct all the time. Brooks, the lovable Lakia Perry, Anetta, life coach Williams, and the youngest in charge, Shaughnessy Andrews. Recap from this past Monday show. He don't want you, which there are signs such as that person being less talkative, sex has become non-existent, he craves his alone time. So we kind of went through several different situations on why a guy may not want a woman at that particular time. Now for tonight, June 27th, we will lead off with the topic, Mom Dukes, why are you jealous of your daughter? Mm. Really? You're probably thinking, like, really? Are mothers really jealous of their daughters at times? Yeah, because some women are narcissists. They could be going through menopause, possessive over their husband or man, having regrets over unfulfilled dreams, or emotionally absent with their relationship with their child. So, those are some of the things that could cause them to have jealousy. Um, but damn, we getting deep in here. More to come later. Now let's shift focus. Let's shift our focus to the other talking points. Number two, take control of your emotions or be controlled. Number three, if a person pays a woman's bills, gives her money, gets her hair and nails done in return for a sexual relationship, could that be
Mm.
considered prostitution? Mm, mm. All right. We'll leave it at that. Once other people come in, it will tackle that. And
Woo!
number four, why do some black women supervisors have problems with black coworkers that's
Mm.
beneath them? Why? What's the deal? All right, we are on one tonight. Join us, bring a friend, and let's get ready to talk. Please like and share our video and subscribe to the YouTube channel, The Controversial Counselor. So, yes, indeed, we're here. Got a lot going on the plate. Some good subject matter. Herb, what's going on? What's new with you?
Man, it's the same old grind, man. Got some things to do, but as the list grows, you check one off and you move on to the next one. They say if you don't have a list, you ain't doing nothing. You ain't moving towards no goals. So
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Got to stay proactive and steady knocking off those to dos off your list. For me, just getting back today, went to the Cataract City, Niagara Falls. My mother had her 70th birthday celebration, so had a lot of family come in from Milwaukee, um, Atlanta, Tennessee, South Carolina, people from Charlotte. Uh, it was a good time. It was a long weekend, nonstop, nonstop. That's how it was. It was never ending. And shout out for everybody that came from different states to celebrate my mother's 70th birthday, because we can't take that for granted. 70
yeah, yeah,
in this
yeah.
day and age, we just had, it seemed like probably every other day you look on Facebook and you'll have someone that's, in their 40s or 50s, that end up passing, and you're like, wow. But 70, that, monumental years. I'm hoping that she pushes and make it to 80, 90
Yeah,
as
yeah.
well. So, we have to celebrate that. And also, it was just nice coming together, other than a funeral, uh, and just laughter, no beefs or arguments. Or the only thing we're sad about is our family from Milwaukee. They had to get back because one of the my cousins that traveled with them had a commitment that he had to attend to, as far as summer school, like being an administrator. But we was like, man, we didn't want them to go, because we hadn't seen them in years. Well, prior to that, when my uncle had passed in Milwaukee, we connected then, and then now we just kind of made a pact and say, like, we gonna see each other more often, a few times out of the year, instead of waiting till something tragic happens. So we're trying to put stuff in place for that, coming up September, possibly October. So definitely appreciate that.
You know what? Or not to cut you off. Go ahead, Dave. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. I'm pretty much done with that.
You know, the older I get, as my immediate family grows in terms of
Yay.
nieces, nephews, and all of them having kids, what I find is it's harder to actually do family gatherings. We usually have a family reunion once a year, so depending on where that's going to be agreed upon, that we meet, whether it's down south here or somewhere else, it is extremely difficult to plan around schedules, to try and coordinate things. Even if you do it a 6, 7, 8 months or maybe a year in advance, it's just difficult. So I would advise people, take advantage of those opportunities, while they exist, because like David said, it's not promised at all.
All right. Hello, Lakia. Hello, Shaughnessy.
Hey.
Hi guys,
Hello.
and
Good
Gail.
evening.
Good evening.
What's good with y'all? Anything good, bad, indifferent, exciting?
I don't have any complaints other than school tearing me up. That's it.
Yeah, me. I just came back from a conference in Orlando, so it's been good.
Ooh,
It's just been, by the grace of God, it's been an uphill, good stuff going on. So I'm excited about my career, my real estate
Nice.
career, and grateful for just all the referrals that I get and the people that trust me to help them find their home or their business. So it's been very good. Orlando was great. It was like really nice to experience good stuff.
Okay, okay.
Nice, nice.
Hmm.
All right. We'll see if the others join us. But tonight's topic, we're gonna get it going. The first talking point is Mom Dukes. Why are you jealous of your daughter? Talking about
Mm,
mothers being jealous of their daughters.
Hmm.
yikes. Who came up with that topic?
Hey, somebody dropped something in the counselor's corner, like a talking point. So it was like wow. I don't know who actually posted something in regards to that, but I was like wow. So
Yeah, that's
there you have it.
crazy.
It's
Well, no,
crazy, but
I
it's
believe that can
facts.
be true. I definitely believe that can absolutely be true, especially if a woman has not dealt with her issues of envy and jealousy, and she's getting older and doesn't have the body she used to have. I do believe that can happen. Um, it's sad, but it's just
I
something
was
that she just has to get over.
It's weird that you'd be jealous instead of happy. Like, I mean, wouldn't you take that as an opportunity to be like, this is what I made, this is what I raised?
You would think, but not all the
ugh.
time. Not everybody has conquered that envy
I
and
mean,
that
I've
jealousy
heard of it
spirit.
before. I've never seen it or know anybody that actually experienced something like that to say that their mother was actually jealous of them.
Hmm.
And a lot of it
Especially
has to
I
when,
do.
go ahead.
A lot of it has to do with like people unfulfilled dreams, like things that
mhm.
they didn't
Hmm.
accomplish, and they start having kind of bitterness towards that because they're like, oh, I probably would have accomplished this if I wouldn't have had, these my children or whatever the case is. But that's their
Yeah.
doing too. They had control of that situation, but it doesn't mean that they still don't have resentment, especially if their daughter is blossoming, doing everything she wanted to do and
Mhm.
doing it well. And
Mhm.
that can leave some, hey, we're human, that can leave some resentment towards that.
That too. Absolutely.
I think the other thing that probably isn't considered when we talk about this type of thing is the fact that women are actually delaying childbirth. And I think this by about 3 or 4 years. So as opposed to the average first birth of a woman being between 17 and 23, I think is now between 24 and 27. So what happens is when a woman is reaching her maturity peak and she hasn't necessarily aged out of her sexual prime, she's dealing with a daughter who comes into puberty. And depending on the age difference, you could actually have a mother who's at her peak, whether it's her earnings, her sexual attractiveness in terms of relation to some men, and her daughter coming in there. You could have a conflict of interest, if you will, in them attracting from the same pool of men, because younger women are by nature, not by choice, but by nature, going to attract an older man, and that's the pool that her mother would generally exclusively have to herself. So when you start,
Wouldn't the mother be dating older too? That pool that my daughter is interested in, I'm no longer interested in.
no, but that's what I'm saying. If we have a mother that's 43, she had a child at 20, that child is going to be 23, and the men that are in that age demographic for your mother are going to be targeting that younger woman, thereby taking from the pool that was once exclusively the domain of the mother. So that's where the overlap comes in. Let me put it a different way for this particular sake. It's like fathers who pour everything into their teenage son so he can live vicariously through the son. Men generally don't compete for the same women, whereas women, no matter their age, will compete for the same type of man because they're all looking generally for a few things. Men that are financially secure, their children are gone, so they don't have to worry about that, so they have them to themselves. And as women gain traction economically, that pool shrinks. By nature, and I was going to say by nature, not by choice, women are programmed to seek out men who can provide. So that's where confluence comes, and you're going to see the overlap. And it's like you said, Shaughnessy, we don't see it happen often, but when we do see it, it's a visceral thing.
So let me read Daphne's comment. She said, it's but she had two. I had it happen to me. It was the weirdest thing ever for me because I never looked at mom as competition. She said it's the most gut-wrenching thing in my life. My professor told me that my mom saw me as her competition educationally.
Yeah. And it's look at it like you will as a pride of lions. If that male lion comes in to that pride and that female has cubs, what does that male lion do? He kills off the cubs.
Oh.
Now, because we as humans were thought to be more evolved, we don't kill off the offsprings, but we do get into competition with them. So you'll see a younger male who's trying to compete with an older male. And one of the things that he will do is he will try to challenge him physically until he gets to a point where he either knows that he can't beat him or he overtakes him. Then that older man, by default, he's got to move along because he's been defeated on the field of battle. For women, that doesn't exist. This is why you always hear about the catty behavior between women. And a lot of women say, I don't have a lot of female friends because of that competition.
And you know what else happens too in the home? And people don't talk about this enough. That even like mothers that have boyfriends look at their daughters, and the mothers will notice that they'll notice that their boyfriends are looking at their daughters and not looking at them. And sad to say that is happening. That's probably it has happened and still happening to this day a
And you
lot.
don't think anything is wrong with the man. Your issues
Of
with your
course.
daughter.
Yeah, but no, but a lot of women unfortunately will go attack the daughter and blame her opposed to blaming the one that is doing the causing the situation.
Yikes. That's I don't know. I can never, to me, I just would always like anything my daughter does, and I always, to me, I hope and I pray that my kids are so much better than me. I want them to do everything better than me. I want their grades to be better than mine. I want their high school, junior high school careers to be better than mine. I want the best for them because, and that's not something for me to, I had my children at 19. I don't want them to have kids young. But if they do, they do. But that's not my hope for them. But that would be something that I'm proud of, that they'll get to finish their college career straight through or get to live their young life before becoming parents. I would be proud of that. I don't know. That to me, that would be something to brag on when your child is what you think so much better than you. That's something to brag on, something to be proud of. This is what I created.
And the one thing to piggyback on what Lakia said, when you may have that father, stepfather looking at that daughter, that can create a problem too. Then sometimes you have like the body shaming, even though that their body may be better than that, better than the mother's, but
Yeah.
they again, that competition of like, or possessiveness, like why are you wearing, and it could be something just basic, why are you wearing that, or you shouldn't do this or do that, and the daughter's like, damn, this is I always did this, like what's the issue now? But now she's kind of, and I'm hopefully more thinking so on the if it's a stepdad compared to the real biological dad.
Yeah.
But even with those, sometimes mothers have jealousy toward the father and daughter's relationship, especially if he uses language like, this is my girl, my favorite girl, she's my heart, she's my everything, and he's not saying those type of things to the mother. Unfortunately, that jealousy kicks in.
And I think this is going to become a bit more prevalent with the advent of a lot more blended families. And I don't even know how you really even get a handle on this, get ahead of this, because, and to what Daphne is saying, if you have a mother, like I use an example, she's in her late 30s, let's say she's 38, 40, and she has that 20-year-old daughter, and her 20-year-old daughter has actually become a full-fledged woman, that man is going to have a physical reaction. Now,
No way.
Hold on. He's going to have a physical reaction, meaning he's going to see her and he's going to identify her as a female first. Now, if he reacts to what he sees and he pursues it, then the mother's got to address him and not the daughter. Now, that doesn't mean that she can't teach her daughter modesty. And this is where the two cross. Who gets addressed first? Do you address the live-in boyfriend or do you address the daughter? This is why I'm a proponent of, and shameless, the 100 questions, because these type of situations are never addressed until they're in our face or it's already occurred. By asking these questions, whether somebody's going to be truthful or not, if you're paying attention to their body language, they're going to tell you certain things. Somebody records something, they're uncomfortable with it, meaning they probably never have done it, or never would consider doing it.
So you mean to tell me that a teenage girl, a man cannot differentiate or separate the fact that this is my girlfriend's, and I'm talking about a regular man, because we know there's sickos, we know there's creeps. Just talking about a regular grown man can't differentiate that my girlfriend's teenage daughter is not an object or not something for me to look at or be attractive to. I can't even think of being attracted to one of my friends' man or anything like that, family or anything like that. So why would is it different for men? Am I confused?
Yes. No, you're not confused. You're not a man, so you don't operate in that realm, and that's understandable. This is why we always, and you, when BGS comes on, he always talks about female nature versus male nature. Let me put it to you like this: if I take it, and I use 18, I stay away from underage because I don't want to deal with that.
Right.
If I take an 18, 19-year-old, 20-year-old woman who's developed, and I take a 35-year-old woman who's developed, and I put them behind a screen, can you tell those two apart?
No, you probably won't be able to, especially if the 35-year-old keeps up with her body.
And that's what men see first. That's why I said if they act on it afterwards, then you have an issue that needs to be addressed and addressed immediately. Because if you, it's like anything. It's like they say. It's shout out to Jason Black when he says the business. He says, "Handle your business, or your business will handle you." So you better get ahead of it before it starts. And I'm serious when I say this, women. If you have a teenage daughter and she's hitting that stride and she's staying with you, explain to her, sit her down, and say, "Hey, look, I'm dating this guy. When he comes around, if you're going to dress like that for my benefit, for your benefit, please stay in your room. If you're not going to dress conservative, it may seem punitive. It may seem punitive, but the only thing you're doing is you're setting the boundaries of decorum. That if you can't dress a certain way, you're still in my house, you're my daughter, yes, but I have to set a boundary that if you can't dress a certain way, then I don't want you around potentially tempting this guy." Now that doesn't let the guy off the hook. You go to the guy and say, "Hey, look, I understand my daughter. She's becoming a young woman. I understand you may have a visceral reaction to her. But if that visceral reaction goes beyond anything, you're going to have to deal with some repercussions." And I ain't talking about some light repercussions.
Yeah, this is.
That's what I'm saying.
I can't even imagine.
It's there. It's there.
I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm not. I just, oh my gosh.
And see, Shaughnessy, when you look at it, even if you look past the fathers, and sometimes you have uncles and family members and stuff like that, even though you're like, how could they, how could they?
I know I've been blessed in that aspect because I hear all the times about females and girls and stuff like that. And I've always been able to be completely comfortable with all of my father's brothers. And I've never, ever, ever had to feel like or feel scared or feel, and I know it exists. I know it. I definitely know it exists. It's just, it's just weird.
Let me read this comment for Daphne. She said, "One of my mom's friends' husband was having sex with his stepdaughter, and she had a baby by her stepfather. The mother is still torn up by this, and the baby is a 35-year-old man now, and his grandmother is an alcoholic behind it." Wow.
Oof.
It's out there. It's out there, and I mean, No, but that's what I was saying. Creation. That's what I was saying. There's a visceral reaction for men. When I say visceral, I'm talking. Maybe I shouldn't use the term visceral. There's a visual reaction to a man seeing a female form. Beyond that is the actual choice. So visceral is probably the incorrect word, and my apologies for that. But there's always a visual reaction for a man who sees a woman. This is why you'll see a lot of men who will catcall, and that's as far as they go. You will see a lot of men touch. That's as far as they go. But you'll have some men that'll reach out, grab, fondle, and that's when it becomes a problem. And it doesn't become a problem for the woman. It's a societal problem. And that's one of the things that, is always trying to be addressed by the social movement. I can dress whatever way I want to, and I shouldn't have to worry about this, and so on. I'm not even going to stand in the way of that argument. The counter to that argument that I will present is this. It's the equivalent to, and I'm going to use your boy, Floyd Money Mayweather, walking around with $100,000 and saying he should feel free to do it. You don't think somebody's going to take a poke at that fool? That's the thing that's the conundrum that we're presented with. I'm not standing in the way of anybody's right to do whatever it is that is constitutionally permissible by law, moral as well. But we all have to understand that when we do certain things, we expose ourselves to risk, whether they're unnecessary, should never happen, or anything of that nature. It just comes with the territory. I'm not going to walk down the street in a place that's known to have some skinheads and think they're not going to try me. That would be foolish.
One other thing, also, when you go back to that, you always have to be mindful of, like, the opposite sex always, when your kid is young or, making comments, like she gonna be, your daughter, she gonna be fine as hell when she get older, or, women talking about the son, like, oh my God, like, oh, he's so handsome, he's gonna be fine. Oh my God, that's my little man, or whatever the case is. That language could lead to something down the road. I mean, it's all fine and that, and that's another reason why I always say, for people, don't overly post your kids on social media like that, man. You got a lot of people just be sitting back trying to checking things out, and if your settings and locators ain't right, you got people watching every move they make. And
it's like you used to talk about the layaway plan. It's out there. Mm-hmm. And even more so for some younger men. Don't think there ain't some older women out here trying to groom some 16, 17-year-old saying, oh, I can't wait till he hit about 18, 19 when he gets from underneath his mother's roof and he goes to college. So if you see that we already know older men do it. You see them sitting outside certain institutions waiting to give a young girl a ride home. He's grooming her. Don't think women, especially now with the influence or the advent of them actually getting more money, don't think they ain't setting them up. Don't think they're saying, hey, shoot, I like what you're working with. You got a nice little physique. Because I have a friend who had a son. She has a son. And about 4 or 5 years ago, she was lamenting about her adult friends commenting on his physique. And I was like, you didn't think this wasn't going to occur? Women are the same way when it comes to a visual reaction to the physical male body. It's natural. Like I said, it's the acting on it. That's the problem. This is why like David said, protect the children. Keep them in that protective bubble, if you will, until you have to let them at a certain point in time. We are going to have to allow our children to venture out into the world, trial and error. We just hope that the errors they make are errors that they can move on from, learn from, and don't scar them beyond what's necessary for them to learn. Because they, in turn, if they have children, they're going to have to teach. And part of the problem that we have as a society is we don't teach the kids at a younger age what's acceptable, what's permissible, and what isn't. And sometimes everybody has a different boundary. So what you may not think is acceptable with one person might be acceptable with another. And that's the one thing I've discovered with and I just got on TikTok about 2 months ago, and I'm seeing so much out here in the world that it's a lot for me to take in. Sometimes I just have to shut down certain things because I don't want to have to deal with what is out there. And I'm a
It's
50-year-old mature man. So I can't imagine the overload that a 16, 17, 18-year-old, 19-year-old young adult is coming into. And it's like I like to use the term, and I stole it from a movie. If your bot ain't on tight, blowout preventer, you in a world of trouble.
It's I want to address Larry. He says so everything is grooming now. No, not everything is grooming, but if someone keeps, if they're, I want to say obsessed, but keep making comments like that all the time, that's something to keep your eyes and ears open to. If you're a mother and you got a son, like, okay, he's 15, 16, got broad shoulders, whatever, kind of ripped, whatever. He coming in from playing basketball, no shirt on, and they, and the woman is making comments like, and they say something every damn time. You're gonna start to think, okay, you said that last week, whatever. Like, okay, enough is enough. Like, stop playing. And I could tell you this because. Never mind. I ain't gonna say that. I'm done. Never mind.
Who did
No,
it?
well, no,
Tell us, who did it?
I believe most men understand exactly what you're saying,
Yeah.
and it's happened too often to a lot of men also.
Yes,
and that's not
yes.
talked about enough either.
Exactly.
And so even with me, with my sons and my daughters, the same thing. But for me, it was opposite. It wasn't women. Well, women make comments, "Oh, you got some handsome sons," but it's it's the tone. It's all about the tone. You know what I'm saying? It's all what she come in, the form that they come in. I listen for the tone. Some are innocent, but then it was times when I was taking my kids somewhere and there was a guy looking at my son, and I was like, "Wait a minute, hold up." You know what I mean? Like, that happens too. And so, we got to protect our kids from everybody. So then my daughters, as you mentioned, I don't like to bring guys around my daughters like that. So if I do, it's because I know there's a level of, hopefully they're not that type of person.
Man,
Because
I'd be in jail
it's
so
tough.
quick.
It's very tough. But I always do try to tell my girls to make sure you just dress appropriately. But they're young. They're gonna dress how they dress. I did it. So, there's only so much you can do when they're young adults. But but for me, I'm gonna go ham. They don't want me to go ham on one of my kids. That's all I'm gonna say. Like Herbert said, listen, okay, yeah, she's a young lady, but come across, let me hear one thing that you made a move or made a comment or whatever. Oh, it's going down.
Breathe wrong.
Huh?
If you breathe wrong.
It breathed wrong. Okay, look too long. It's gonna be on and popping.
To answer the Facebook user's question, and I'll read the question. It says, so what is the dividing line between what can be called simple looking or admiration to which that is grooming or violation? That's going to be a very, very thin line and almost a slippery slope, at least
I
from my
don't like that
perspective.
this is just a Facebook user. And
Well,
I do not like it. I do not.
I personally don't care. I like the question. So if somebody wants to, ask something in anonymity because they don't want their what's the name exposed, that's cool by me. I don't. For me,
I
it's
think that's not
half a
from them
dozen.
being that way. I think it's because just the way it's set up that you can't see their name. Because I think if you go through Facebook, you'll see it.
You'll see the name who it is.
Oh.
Okay, but either way, there's an innocent comment similar to what Lakia was saying, and then there's a comment that raises an eyebrow.
Mm-hmm.
And the comment that raises an eyebrow should be a trigger. And then you got to ask, how often does this individual make these type of comments about that individual? And if it's something that happens consistently, you may want to say, okay, you know what? This is something we need to keep an eye on. For me, that's the line.
So true.
I can agree with that.
Okay. Anything else we want to add to this topic? Because this is so many that we just covering like a lower level of it. It's so much to it. But
Right.
Uh,
Yeah.
you could get, man, like you said, Dave. This you could get into um the schools, um
Teachers.
colleges are a slippery slope because now you're dealing with consenting adults, if you will, even though you're dealing with 18, 19, 20-year-old adults. And that was one of the reasons why I mentioned that age demographic, because you have a lot of kids every year, male and female, going hundreds of miles away from school. They're unsupervised, and if they don't have that worldly experience, and I know how much worldly experience can you have at that age. So if you don't have some worldly experience, some parents who are wise, shout out to Star, get this podcast going, and people who have pulled you aside and taught you what to look for, or you've seen things that have led to bad outcomes, you won't have those triggers that'll stand up like the hairs on the back of your neck and say, okay, you know what? This is not a good situation. I need to get the up out of here.
Mm.
So your schools, your colleges, your local facilities where you have 16, 17-year-old girls and boys who are there and they're not supervised with staff. And that's not to say that staff needs to be supervised, but you always rather would err on the side of caution. So both parties are protected. The staff is protected from a person making accusations against them, and vice versa. A lot of people think that when you talk about supervision, it's to keep the staff from doing something to the child. And we don't realize that a lot of children are coming into certain relationships with damage from home. And maybe in order to protect a person from home, they blame somebody else.
I just wanted to share too, if I can, real quick, David.
go ahead.
That another level of this is, and I think I've shared some shows ago, that another reason why mothers sometimes are um, jealous of their daughters is when they're small, because sometimes the father will show more affection and emotion towards the child
Hmm.
than to the mother. Like they'll be hugging, loving, holding hands, kisses, with the daughter, opposed to the mom is there. Is like, okay, what about my affection? And sometimes when the mom is not getting the same attention and affection the dad is giving the daughter, that can cause an issue as well. Not just when they're older, but also when they're kids, babies.
And I can imagine that a father coming in and the young daughter running up to him, daddy, daddy, and he gives her a big kiss and hug, then just walks by the mother, and just the head nod, hey, how was your day?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Like, okay,
Hmm.
like I don't get anything.
Right. Like, what about me? Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's funny. Everybody else on the panel is a parent except me, and why this I find ironic is because it gives me a different observation, because I work in a hotel and I'll see certain things that as a potential father I would not permit. I see young girls coming down there half dressed, and I'm thinking, what mother would permit that?
They don't know it, but you got to think about what they know and what they do know, or what they do
Well, no, no,
see.
no. That's why I ask about the parents, not the kids. I expect kids to do certain things, but that's why the parents should be there. I never have a problem with a child doing something that is termed as age appropriate. So like Lakia was saying, you know, when she was at a certain age, she dressed a certain way. It's what the kids do. So I'm never going to get on a child for doing something that's age appropriate. I remember when we used to go to Pleasure Dome on teen night. And for those of you who have never been to Niagara Falls, Pleasure Dome was a club back in the late 80s, I'm sorry, late 1980s, early 1990s. That was the spot to go to.
Yeah.
Niagara Falls used to have a strip on Third Street that Friday and Saturday nights was only thing I could just describe it as just a rocking spot. But between Pleasure Dome, which was at one end, and the Late Show was at the other end, you had 4,000 or 5,000 people out every night, and we would get people coming from as far away as Toronto going to this club. But on teen nights, it was specifically for the local kids, and you would just see some things in there that was just like, whoa, does your mother know you dress like this?
Well,
Well, I wouldn't say Daphne is showing you. She's showing her age. About it was bumping. We don't use it. It was bumping anymore.
stop, because it was pleasure. The Pleasure Dome was the greatest club in all-time history on Sunday nights.
What was?
That's crazy? The Pleasure Dome on Sunday nights.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Monday, y'all ain't have to do a Monday morning.
It didn't matter.
Well,
It didn't matter.
Well, I was grown then.
It was
We'll
the place
talk
to
about the
be.
Pleasure
Well,
Dome.
yeah, that too. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
But
Sunday nights
I
was.
worked 3 to 11 during that time, so even then that used to be a struggle. 3 to 11 because
Man.
Sunday nights was wild.
I would have my girlfriend call me. I was working at Red Lobster. I would have her call me off work, talk about she got to come get her son so I can go.
oh
So
Lord.
I can get off work early.
It was. Honestly, I mean, the only way to describe. I mean, this place was huge, and when I say huge, I'm talking warehouse huge.
Oh, okay. I know what you're talking about. I get it.
We talking about a club that could fit 1,200 people in it.
Right.
And I remember on New Year's Eve, it was standing room only. If you went in there with somebody and you lost them, you wouldn't find them to the end of the night. I mean, this place packed them in. Like David said, on Sunday nights, yeah. Sunday nights.
Like, ladies,
I used to have
if you
on my
got there
break.
before 11 o'clock or 10 o'clock, so we was always in there way before it, so like, we can get in free.
On my
Oh, wow.
break, I make sure I get my drinks, have it on ice, and get off work at 11, and it was time to pregame and get to the spot, whatever. That was that was amazing. And while she had 3Ms on a Friday and Saturday.
And 3M's those was the after spots. If you didn't have enough, you would go there.
No,
Oh,
well, you
man.
know what was the top off though? Top off was Terry. Was it TB with his sausages and hot
The
dogs?
car outside. Yeah.
Okay.
Make
We
it
going
a-
back. We digging into the we
Don't
digging into
mind
the
us.
memory
We just
place.
we just reminiscing. But I do want to take it back to when we talk about these young kids on social media and some of the stuff like you see on TikTok, whatever. It's a lot going on there. And you know, I post my videos and I have to look and see, okay, certain, it'd be like sometimes little kids liking stuff. And so it's this one young lady, whatever. I think she's about 12 or 13. And I look in the comments and I'd be like, wow, like, are these grown ass men for real? The stuff that they be saying, and they'd be like, well, how old are you, cutie, whatever. And then some people were like, knock it off, pervert, whatever. It says in her bio, she's 12 or 13, but yes, she's twerking and doing all types of.
And they probably not even looking
This-
at that age in
yeah.
the bio. I can't say
Yeah,
I look
you're
at,
not.
I don't look at nobody's bio. I can promise you I don't read nobody's bio. And not
But
that
no.
I'm on the internet trying to get at people, but I know the bio is just not something I'm looking at.
But it's just scary, whatever, because you could tell
Yeah.
that she's young, whatever, and then some of the songs that she's playing in the background. But it also says it's monitored by the parents, and I'm like, how are they monitoring it when it's saying shit about eat my, all of that stuff, whatever, and she's dancing to that, and I'm like, this is a disaster about to happen. This is a disaster about to happen.
You should press
But-
report each and every
Yeah.
time you see the page.
And it's funny you say that about the song, because that's one of my tip-offs in terms of me wanting to even have somebody follow my account, and I don't even have any activity on my account. I just follow people, and me follow somebody. I'm listening to the music, and if the music is some of that wretched nonsense, I don't even stay there. I listen for about 10, 15 seconds. I'm gone. And now what I'm seeing is a lot of phony accounts that are targeting people for a whole lot of nonsense, whether there's the steampunk cars or all this. Gone. Like every day I wake up and I hop on my TikTok account, I'm looking for people that I'm having to unfollow me. And like I said, I have no content on my account. So I'm like, no, I don't want you following me. I don't want you following me. I don't want you following me. I definitely don't want you following me. It's like I said, I'm 50. And for me, the message is just like overwhelming. So I thoroughly understand how this generation, when they're consumed by likes, shares, that's dopamine for them. Whereas dopamine for us was going out to a club, getting a female's phone number. You would compare at the end of the night, yo, how many numbers you get. Now the numbers are likes. And you keep getting that hit of dopamine, hit of dopamine, hit of dopamine. At a certain point, it becomes a runaway train. And I always ask this question. I kind of ask it tongue in cheek because I'm not expecting anybody to get it right. I always ask, how do you stop a runaway freight train? You get a lot of different answers. And the simple answer is this: don't allow it to start. And I know that sounds damn near impossible with social media, the kids, and the way things are wired today. But this is why we have to get out ahead and get these kids. When you give a kid a smartphone, 7, 8 years old, you teach them that smartphone is a weapon. Now, weapons can be used for one or two things. Weapons can be used for offense, or weapons can be used for defense. You have to tell them how to protect themselves from themselves. I know it sounds absolutely asinine. How do you protect yourself from yourself? Let's look at it like this. A person that's in recovery, what don't they do? They don't expose themselves to something that can make them relapse. We have to teach these kids that if you start something, you may not have the ability to get it back. Ergo, the runaway freight train. So teach them to take a decision and take it and walk it down in the future some. And what do you get? It's almost akin to role playing. And that's where you can teach them right now that the decisions that they're making will have an impact in the future. We don't know if it's necessarily going to be good. We don't necessarily know if it's going to be bad, but there is going to be some repercussions and consequences for every decision made.
You know, I wanted to bring up real quick. I don't know if you hear this. No, so we're talking about mothers being jealous of their daughters. So I went on a TikTok because you brought up TikTok. This woman found her mother in bed with her baby daddy at her house.
I saw that.
What?
On TikTok.
No way.
I'm watching it right now.
I saw that and I was just like, yeah, I'm not touching. But it was funny. I saw it today and I was thinking about the topics we have. I said, how about that?
That is crazy.
I don't know if you
woman finds her mom and baby daddy in bed together at her house.
If you're dealing with
stuff is real conversation
to me, you automatically become unattractive. Like all of my friends' boyfriends are automatically ugly. I don't care how cute he was when you first met him, and we're like, oh yeah, he's nice looking. He's automatically ugly.
So Shaughnessy, you never broke the code.
No, I don't play those games. No, okay. Absolutely not.
But I could understand that from her perspective. You're in your mid-30s.
Mid-30s?
I don't know how old you are. I have a problem keeping up with my own age.
I just got here.
Okay, so and that's my point. I can't I couldn't at 30 see a 14, 15, or 16-year-old girl as viably attractive. Yeah, she might be cute, but I can't see me doing anything with her else. She can't even go here in the nether regions. So for me, that's just automatically just nah. Talk to me about 6 or 7 years when you get to be somewhat of an adult, and maybe we can talk. But nah, I'm with Shaughnessy in that regard. I'm sorry. Go play with your friends. Don't I have a son your age? Hey, yo, Roger, come here. I got somebody I want you to talk to. That's what was told to us when we were kids.
Exactly.
I got a son your age.
That's
Uncle,
exactly
come
my
here. I got a girl that wants to talk to
too.
you.
Right. That's how I see it. Like, cause it's funny how my son, he'll call me, Mom, stop putting them pictures up, cause his friends are looking at my pictures. I'm like, listen, when I meet somebody and try to talk to me, I'm like, how old is you? I'm old enough to be your mama. You my son's age. I ain't going there. You know, it's just you would think that's how people would think, but they don't. Mm.
So
You,
images are powerful, and that's what
yeah,
people don't understand. Whatever, and that's why sometimes you could have an image and you only could have like 2 or 3 words, but whatever's resonating with that image can control the brain. It,
yeah.
and that's what people act on. So that's
Hmm.
why you see sometimes women or even guys, if they built like that with no shirt on or something like that, they know what they're doing. When women, they position their bodies a certain way, and you had guys like, God damn, or whatever the case is, it kind of it resonates in the brain, whatever. So it's powerful, those images.
It's what I like it to, and I'll use a scientific explanation. It's like the moon's gravitational pull on the Earth's oceans. Now, moon causes them tides. Water rolls in, water rolls out. Um, I mean, this could go a lot of different ways. And it's to what you were saying, Lakia. You have some people who aren't wrapped too tight. And it's funny for me now, this year, right now, being my 30th year out of high school, graduated in 92. And I'm sitting there thinking about it. I'm like, damn, that was that long ago. So I always have to set a boundary for myself not to deal with any woman under a certain age. That's because I don't want to be caught even entertaining the notion of potentially dealing with somebody that is my classmate's daughter. No go. You have a lot of people that won't set themselves up like that. They say, hey, look, man, she's an adult. She's fair game. Bro, you got to operate with a code of ethics. And if you don't, you're unethical. And that's the type of stuff that can end up getting you in some serious shit.
I want to read this comment from Creation Muse. He said, people need to not be in denial of adolescent teens hormones. Why do people always correlate sex with abuse when half the time it is attraction, crushes, and curiosity? So I don't know.
So the other party, the problem, if I understand what he's saying correctly, he's saying that every time that there's an older man or a woman involved, it doesn't necessarily mean it's abuse. And the issue with that is at that age, your age overpowers that child's age. You'll always have a one-up on that child. So I don't care how curious or how attracted or how much of a crush this 15, 16-year-old has on this grown 20-something-year-old man. He's always going to have a one-up. And because of that, that shouldn't be something he does.
What's interesting about all of this is, and I never could wrap my head around it, like something like that. Why is this shit different in states? Like certain states, you could be 16, you could be 16, and if you give consent, it's fine for a 50-year-old to deal with a 16-year-old. Like all of this shit should be unified, like a uniform thing, whatever. Like this is it. And everywhere, whatever. It's too many games played with by state laws and stuff like that. I don't know. This shit is a mess to me. Like these laws and policies.
Well, we see that now with the Supreme Court's ruling out, and I don't want to get into this discussion yet.
Oh, we can get into it. We're gonna get into it.
We can see this with the Supreme Court's ruling on the most recent thing. And I'm not gonna mention it by name because I'm not, like I said, I'm not trying to think that's probably a show because this is gonna be an ongoing issue similar to what David just said. That's that has reverted back to the states. So I mean, girds yourselves, people, because I'm as a man, I'm really disinterested in how it goes. But what I will say to people, particularly those who have children that are active, doesn't matter what age, is you let them know that their bodies now have literally become a weapon. So any decision that you make in terms of who you're dealing with sexually, you better make sure that if the inevitable occurs, that y'all have a game plan. I don't care what the game plan is. You better have that game plan signed, agreed, notarized, so you have a plan of
You
attack.
think somebody care about a notary? That's a joke.
But I'm not talking when I say that I'm talking about people that are old enough to know better. So people in that 25 to 30 range when they're out here behaving indiscriminately.
Well, if they old enough to know better, why would they need an agreement signed? I'm just
Because there's going to be a decision that's made that
So what
can't
do
be
you
undone.
so what are you imagining this notarized letter say?
That the parties who have engaged in consensual sex agreed that this is what we're going to do. That way, if you get a man who wants a child, that woman has to make a decision. Does she want to carry that child to term, or does she want to cross state lines and go get the procedure done? And this is why I didn't really want to get into this, because certain states are going to make that a felony. Now, do we really want to criminalize a woman's choice in terms of what it is that she wants to do? Because we're still operating under that element of her body, her choice.
So I understand the second part. My question and my confusion is on this notarized letter. That what are
Because
we
it's legally
saying in this
binding in court.
notarized letter? Like, if I get knocked up, you don't have to take care of this baby. If I decide to have this baby,
It's
if
legally binding in court, which is where ultimately
to do
you
what?
laughing.
Okay,
You're
so
laughing.
the thing is, we go get a notarized letter that says, if I shall conceive a baby after this one night or this 2 nights or whatever, it's something that I decided to do on my own, or I'm having this baby on my own and this man has no responsibility towards this baby. Like, what?
Yes.
I get what he's trying to say because,
So why not just
transparently-
sign over your parental rights? I don't think that
Because you can't do that because it's not
sign over your.
because somebody's going to have to pay for the child. It's when it comes down to it, it's all about money. Never forget that. This is why child support is a big issue. This is why alimony, palimony, they're becoming bigger issues, especially with women becoming more economically viable. We don't see it currently, but in a generation, oh, believe me, it's going to hit the fan.
You don't have to pay child support if you sign over your parental rights, correct?
Incorrect.
Okay.
The state can still come after you. That's why I said you want it notarized, because when you get it notarized, you can go to court and say, this is what we agreed upon.
I'm gonna have to look into this.
Look here. How often you get papers notarized for sales of property?
All the time.
okay. Somebody just put up something that I was just thinking and saying. Any notarized documents you get is not going to it's not going to stand up in court once paternity has been established.
That's
Once
what I'm
they have
thinking.
established
Like,
that, and also it's not going to stand up in court if that father goes or whatever goes and sign the birth certificate. It's not going to stand up in court. A notarized letter means absolutely nothing.
and you don't even have to be on a birth certificate to pay child support.
But you're missing something that Anetta said. If he does not sign
A
the
notarized
birth
document is
certificate,
write the note, do you like me?
But that's what I'm
Circle yes.
saying. If
That's
you do
all it
not
is.
sign a birth certificate, that does not. You can not sign a birth certificate. You can go to court. They can still establish paternity, and your name never be on that birth certificate, and you still pay child support.
not if you don't take the paternity test, and that's what I'm saying.
That's not true.
But
They
why
cannot
would
compel you to take the paternity test.
you would have to take a paternity test, or they're gonna garnish your wages. They're gonna get you regardless.
How?
So you're
Explain to me
making
how.
on this woman not knowing who you are, your name, or never finding you.
You remember you're talking to a guy who just been through that.
That's a
Oh,
grown man.
what was the outcome?
That was a grown man,
He
and he
he.
was not on the birth certificate.
But that's precisely what I'm saying.
You're a grown
He never
man.
he never
Nobody can
cut.
make you. So typically, and with people or kids that are underage, let's just say I go to a court right now and say I want child support.
Yeah, I got that
And
echo. It's
the
killing
kid's
me.
dad- and the kid's dad jumps back and say, "Oh well, I want a paternity test." Okay,
He'd be entitled to it.
huh?
He would be entitled to it.
Right, absolutely. He can also deny that paternity test. The court is
Mhm.
only going to hold this process up for so long. They're going to come up with an amount, and he is going to pay that amount by hook or crook.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't matter whether you sign that birth certificate or not. You would want to establish paternity, especially to make sure this kid that you're coming out of pocket for is your child.
But that's what I'm saying. And to the Facebook users comment, the state can order paternity, but you still don't have to take it.
But they still gonna take your money.
But they can't do it without a legally binding agreement that
So
says
you're saying if you're not on the birth certificate, they have
bingo,
to establish paternity.
bingo. They
I
can't
got
compel you. They cannot garnish your wages until they have a legal statement that says you are the child's father. They're not going to take the mother's word for it unless, like Anetta said, he signed the birth certificate.
So
Then he's
what
in a
you
world of trouble.
So you just refuse a paternity test for years, right?
If I have a question, absolutely.
What you mean the question? The question will be answered if you take the paternity test.
No. What I'm saying is this: if I haven't, let's put it like this. I just watched a case on paternity court where a woman was adamant that a man who was married fathered her child. There was also another man who she thought could be the father. Guess what the turnout was? Neither one of them were the fathers.
Ouch.
That's why I say what I say.
Listen, yeah, I know that's a whole nother subject, whole nother talking point for another time. For the sake, we have been on the road getting through all the talking points. We're gonna move to number 2 right now, and I know this is conversation. They always gonna be inconclusive. Like we could always add more to the shit, but for the sake of moving on, we gonna move on. And hey, how you doing, Annette? And hey, little man, how you doing? You hanging out there late, little guy? You in the counselor's corner? I don't know if this is the place for you to be, young lad. I don't know.
I'm grateful he don't understand all of this foolishness.
But we're gonna move on to number 2, and that was take control of your emotions or be controlled. So a lot of times we talk about emotional intelligence or people who have no control of their emotions. Like, what's y'all take on that? Like, how do you control your emotions when it's so many things that could get you revved up during this time in the climate that we live in? How do y'all handle your emotions?
Well, I'll share that. thing that helped me was fasting. Fasting helped have temperance and self-control over my emotions, over my thoughts, over my actions. I have to honestly say, ever since I started fasting, and it's not, you hear about intermittent fast, but I'm talking about biblically fasting, turning down my plate, and I find that I'm more calmer, less uh, allowing myself to get into like a sad state and not reacting to things like I used to, like come with a real quick reaction and be upset real. Now I'm just like, oh, okay, just chill, think about it, and just more calmer, more have more self. It's like just as the word says, having temperance and self control, and that's what helped me. I tell people that all the time. Listen, if you find something that you just really want to have some control over, fast and pray about it. And I know at first it's gonna seem like everything's kind of like but it hits that moment for you to be like, you know what, that's it. And when it gets to that point, it just got to keep doing it. So I notice when I don't fast as much, I find myself getting agitated real quick and real like ready to snap back. But when I get back and say, I notice that, I'm like, you know what, let me get back into my fasting. Let me make sure I stay on top of that so I can keep my emotions and my actions in check.
Okay. Good suggestions, good recommendations. Anybody else?
I just remove myself from situations nowadays. Just remove myself completely from situations, because if it's gonna be something that has me stepping out of character, have me in a certain mood or feeling a certain way, less than my best self, then it's no longer fitting to me. I always say everybody is negotiable but my children. So if it's not them, I don't have to feel any feelings toward any situation. I can remove myself.
Okay. Life coach.
I'm sorry, I got a million things going on. Currently, I'm doing my grandma duty because I'm leaving on Saturday. Move to Texas, so I'm on grandma duty to get my grandkids and spend some time with them because I'm gonna be 1,400 miles away.
Yeah.
I know. I was going to ask you how is your move going, but not to get off topic. But
the move is crazy. I was so busy trying to make sure that movers got everything. I left 2 bins of clothes in my guest room. So now I have to pack up suitcases, and I'm gonna be traveling with 4 suitcases. So it's been crazy. It's because everybody trying to help, and instead of me doing it myself, it's like too many hands in the pot. So, but otherwise everything is good. My sons are down there setting up the house. What I really think they're partying, but that's all.
They enjoying Texas.
All work and no play makes Jack all
play. I think it's more play than work.
Really, Herb? Really?
Yeah, Herb, sit your ADHD having ass down somewhere, man.
Eating. What are you eating now?
I'm not eating. I'm actually putting the outdoor cat in his safe haven, so I don't have to deal with fur balls flying tonight. So pardon me while I move about. Cat.
So do you have more than one?
I have 4. I have 4. I took in one last winter. So what can I say? I'm an animal lover. So crucify me.
How many are outdoor? How many are indoor?
Just the one.
Oh, okay.
No, you got to rephrase that. You're a cat lover, not an animal lover.
Animal lover,
any dogs. You don't have any ferrets. You don't have any turtles or snakes.
Just because I don't have them don't mean I don't love them. I love kids. I don't have them, though. I understand the difference between choice and freedom of choice.
Okay.
Wait a minute. Let me ask a rhetorical question. Do the women on the panel love men?
Of course.
How many of you have more than one?
It's not the same as no
Ah,
cats.
see, now we want to dance.
It's not the same as no cats.
I'm just simply saying it is a choice because there are some women who are into polygyny. I'm sorry, polyamory.
No, you said you like animals. Let's just specify
That
that.
is
You want to go there? Let's go there, sir. You know I go there.
No,
I'm
we're
ready for an
not. We're
argument.
not
I'm
going
ready for
there.
some
It was
hypeness.
going
I'm
really
ready to
good.
get into something.
We were having a really good night.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
making
Y'all
jello.
not gonna create no smoke over no freaking cat.
I'm ready to talk about some stuff, and we're gonna talk about cats and animals and dogs and men.
I should not
I
have
like cats because they're easy to take care of. For me,
never mind. Never mind.
Maybe that's therapeutic. Maybe that's part of her Herb's emotional control, and that was the second talker point. Herb,
absolutely they are.
So what keeps you in control of your emotions?
Oh shoot, there's a couple things. One, I examine my behaviors in the future. Case in point, I was at work Saturday night, Sunday morning. I had a guy that called in and he asked a question about checking in. Now, being that we have some people that don't show up to the hotel when the reservation is scheduled, I didn't know if he was a no-show, what we refer to as a no-show. So I asked him when he wanted to check in. He said, "Now, what do you think?" I said, "Well, sir," I said, "we're sold out." He starts to become belligerent. Now, me at my age, my disposition, I don't tolerate anybody that uses profanity. So I simply hung up the phone. He called back about 3 or 4 more times. And the same thing. I said, "Look, sir," I said, "you're going to learn how to speak to people in a manner that's respectful. If not, I'll continue to hang up on you." So I'm always in the process of examining and projecting my actions long term. And it's in that moment that I say, if I do this, I know this is going to happen. If I don't do this, I don't have to worry about anything else happening. And like I said earlier, do this exercise with yourself. Take a situation, doesn't matter what the situation is, and react badly to it. And then ask yourself, what am I going to have to deal with if I do this action? And I'll guarantee you that you say, you know what? That's not the outcome I want. And the reason why I say do that is because we can think a whole lot faster than we can move and react. You could play 3 or 4 scenarios in your mind in about 15 seconds, and you can come out with 3 or 4 different outcomes. You can't act that quickly. So for me, I'm always projecting things. And I find myself doing this. I'm just like, this is crazy, but it keeps me from doing, pardon the expression, dumb shit.
And I can understand all that. If for me, even people automatically assume, well, you're a counselor, you're automatically in control of your emotions. That's not always the case. Whatever. Some of that stuff is straight up. You go through and you do what you got to do to get through the program. But also, I'm the type. It's only going to take a little bit. I might entertain a little drama here and there, but after a while, I'm going to check out. I'm gonna check out, and I'm gonna move on. And one of the things is, like I always talk about on here, it's just keeping busy with positive stuff. Just because I always say, when you're at 30-something, 40-something, you talking about you bored, you got issues. You got fucking issues. Because it's a lot to be done. There's never a day that you say, "Oh, I accomplished everything I wanted to." There's always layover stuff that you can do. So when you consume your stuff with positive thoughts and positive energy, it can remove, whether it's working out, doing some physical activity, like I had mentioned before, like some people like to write, like in a journal or whatever the case is, removing yourself from toxic individuals. I think that's probably one of the biggest things that people can't get rid of, toxic individuals. And a lot of times it may be close family members that are toxic as hell. And you're like, well, I can't do that because that's my mother or that's my brother, that's my sister or whatever. But we also have to think we only have one life. We only have one life. Uh, either you either you channel your emotions and control it, or eventually you're gonna take an L, or stroke out, or do something that you're gonna have something that's gonna impact you for the rest of your life. And stress is a killer. And people don't understand how, well, they may understand, but they don't really put the actions toward that. You don't know how many illnesses that can impact when you're stressed out. So my thing is, and that's why this weekend was it was a blessing in disguise to get with family members and have a good time where there was no beefs, no arguments, no drama, because that is needed.
Right.
It's needed, and you need positive vibes to go on. And I know sometimes people in the chat like, "Oh, y'all old asses or whatever. Y'all ain't fucking. Y'all ain't fucking." But whatever the case is, and that's a stress reliever too. But
Wait, somebody said.
somebody
Who
said
said
what?
that? Somebody said y'all wasn't doing nothing.
No, I'm talking about last time, whatever, how they like to crack slick about stuff. But I mean, the thing is, it's just trying to preserve and trying to be around positive people that bring less stress and headaches to you, whatever. It's important. Shit is now or never. It's kind of do or die for me. That's how I look at it. I'm only gonna argue with you back and forth for a little bit, and then after that, you'll see like, oh, he didn't fade it out. He didn't fade it out. Like he's done.
I ain't gonna argue.
I'm gonna give you a little smoke. I'm gonna give you something to work with. And then after a while, I'm just go like, yeah, I'm done. It ain't even worth it, whatever. Because when I give you that smoke, I'm gonna make your ass ball up in a fetal position. That's my game plan. That's my game plan. So
yeah, your game plan ain't gonna work. Oh, okay, blocked.
You gonna block me? Shit, then I won. Yeah, then I won.
Calm down.
Yeah,
block
then I won.
Calm down.
Yeah, then y'all think that's gonna be the thing. They're like, okay, I'm gonna unblock you now, whatever. Man, the hell with that. We done. We don't have no social media access anymore. Or
I'm talking about block from the phone. Block.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I ain't talking about social media. I'm talking about block from the phone.
Okay. And then it may be that time that you say, damn, I really want to talk to him. And
then I'll unblock you and I say, hey, how are you?
Nah.
You block.
See, that's the problem. That's the problem. That's the problem. Some people are cutthroat. Some people stubborn as hell. Like, oh, you talking to me now? Get the fuck out of Dodge.
And that's fine. Block again.
I've had that situation, Dave. It's comical when I think about it, because I actually had an interaction with this individual we did our clinic about a little over a month ago, so about a month and a half ago, and it was just as if we never met. Just like you said, I'm my scalpel game, nice. That's all I can say.
Yeah, you got to be nice, and you got to let these people. You sure you want to do this? You sure you want to block? You sure you want to do this?
I don't put my grandmother on the block list. You know everybody.
See, and that's where you playing on a slippery slope, putting Granny on the block.
Yeah.
Listen, toxic is toxic. I said everybody is negotiable.
Grandma get a pass, man.
No, she don't. No, she don't.
She get a
I don't have
pass.
one, so yeah.
You
So
you
out of my
dictate
realm.
you dictate how you deal with her, but to block her, nah,
Blockiana. Blocked.
you don't want that.
I'll unblock her and be like, hey, how are you? You still going? Okay, I'll talk to you later. Blocked.
She's like the
You'll be
Kimbe.
blocked. You'll be blocked until you calm down.
Mm.
Hey, your world.
Look,
This
sometimes
world's
you
trying to
have
get
to.
nuts.
Sometimes you have to help people control their emotions.
Yeah.
Yeah, but at the same time, don't be the little boy that cried wolf or the little girl cried wolf. Okay, I'm on block, but knowing damn well that I'm only blocking for. That's just like people like, oh, I'm off the social media. I'm deactivating my account. But then
But
they
be
right back
scrolling.
on that shit. Yeah, like, listen, if you're going to have a cleanse for that or fast from it, then get off of that. Get off of it for months. Come back and then reintroduce yourself that you didn't, you're doing something different. But a lot of people, they
So
just,
the main reason I block people is one of those things. You teach people how to treat you. And it doesn't work for everybody. So I can block somebody and then I can unblock them and I can say, hey, how are you? Are you feeling better? And then they may want to conduct a conversation and talk about the issue at hand. Or they want to continue yelling and screaming or being angry or fussing and cussing. And if I choose not to deal with that, I don't have to. So guess what? You're going right back on the block list. But at any point you want to talk to me like another human being, we can talk all day. But when you want to be angry and do all these other things that I'm not going to go for, you're blocked. I don't have to allow you. I can set that boundary.
So how do you feel when you're on the other receiving end of somebody blocking you?
Then whatever way that I was coming towards them and to them wasn't acceptable.
Because
there's time for me to step back and say, and maybe I will say, okay, well, this person blocked me. And the question may be when they come back and hey, how are you? It's why you blocked me. Because you were yelling or you weren't hearing me. You weren't understanding me. You weren't regarding my feeling. Okay, that's understandable. Everybody is negotiable. You can set whatever boundary you want to.
Yeah.
It's an interesting time, man, with the block feature and stuff like that. It's interesting.
Shoot, I done blocked somebody that I live with. Talk to me when I get home.
now that's savage. That's savage level 1002.
Well, in those cases, it all go to you can live with somebody, and also, but you don't have to be social media friends, and they don't have access because some people don't know that.
I don't know. See, that's a little bit of different level. I'm not gonna sit here and say that I'd block somebody like willy nilly. You'll be blocked from my phone before you'll be blocked from social media. I wouldn't do that. I don't do that all willy nilly. But this phone, you're gonna get.
So
blocked.
you can live with somebody and you block them from the phone.
Yeah, because until you calm down, until you relax on my phone, on my cellular device.
Because then we gonna come to a head, whatever. Oh, since you blocked me, don't ever freaking call my phone again.
I don't have to call your phone again. We use the same key to open our same lock.
Yeah, see, not a lot of people have access to me via my phone, and that's just the way I govern my life. So I'm more apt to block somebody on social media. If I give an individual my phone number, that's because I want you to contact me, or vice versa. But like I said, that's the way I govern my life. But that, like I said, that's a different level of savagery. Because
No, I just think it's a way to kind of calm the situation or table a situation, especially when it's getting out of hand.
Well, that always go with KYP. Know your person.
Yeah.
You know what makes people ticks. You know what makes people ticks.
I'm blocked,
Yeah.
mommy. And then when you call my phone, and if I send you the voicemail, it says the wireless caller you've reached is unavailable. It sounds like my phone is off. I don't care.
Well, and
I
that's
don't
the
got a I don't got an email saying what's wrong with your phone. Do you need me to pay your bill? No, I need you to stop talking to me.
and that's the interesting thing, whatever, about this, because people have different, mechanisms how they cope, but also
Right.
understand that sometimes things happen in twofold. Like, y- like you always say, Herb or whatever, to say, like, it's no fun when the rabbit has the gun.
Damn right.
Them tables can turn. Are you prepared to deal with that? I don't think a lot of people, they just act out of emotion, like, oh, I'm blocking, I'm doing this and that, but they know that that person has been a solid person to them. Hey, you're gonna have some bumps in the road. You don't go at it full throttle, but to say, oh, I'm blocking you and all that, you might have to end up
if
eating
you don't
crow.
want to be blocked that bad, you know where I am. Pull up.
Shit.
Yeah.
All righty then. She said, "Hey, load them up."
Yeah, that's true
All
too.
right.
We gonna move on to number 3 at this point, because it's getting good. I wish I don't know what happened to Half the Truth tonight, because he loved Monday nights. Maybe he I don't know, had a little romance going on from the concert.
Because half the truth told half of the truth last
Ooh.
week.
Oh,
So half
call
the
it
truth
about.
right now. Because I seen half the truth at the concert with his $200 tickets. Sit
Okay.
behind me, and I ain't pay $200.
Ooh.
A call out. A call out.
Okay.
I'm gonna
Okay.
instigate.
Wait a minute. What is this about? What was this question about?
Mr. $200.
I was
Let
trying
him show up now, boy.
Mr. $200 ticket and half a truth.
Okay. So he didn't show up. I'm ready to go in on that because
I don't even know
heard
who this
about it.
person is, to be honest.
Hey, you do
I
know
heard
who it
about
is. We talk about Willie, Shaughnessy.
Oh.
Yeah,
Then he gonna have to
but
change
he
that
gonna
to
get
like,
got next week.
Willie
He'll
speaks
get got
the
next
truth.
week.
It's
Yep.
Willie speaks half the truth.
Oh.
And that's the gospel truth. And that is the
Oh
gospel
my
truth.
gosh. Why y'all beefing with
Even the
Willie?
child's in agreement.
That's the gospel truth too.
What did y'all
Not
do to
just half
Willie?
the truth.
Look
What
We ain't do, hey, we ain't did nothing to Willie.
That's the gospel truth.
I
He
know
does-
it
he
was y'all
tells
fault.
half the
What we
truth.
were supposed to do was get an update this week on that concert. We were supposed to get an update.
What
That's
concert
why
was
they
it?
didn't show up.
Patty LaBelle.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
update
Like,
was
don't be
he was
coming
sitting
for me.
behind me with the $200 tickets.
Listen, don't come for me when I'm not on the show. Don't do that. Don't do
He was
that.
sitting behind me with $200 tickets on the concrete in the grass.
In the grass, a $200 ticket in the grass. Listen.
So let me ask you this,
Hey,
Anetta.
And
I want
I'm
to say
never
thank
paying
Let me ask you this.
$200 for anybody.
Thank you, Anetta,
Who
for
done
having
started
my
this
back.
beef up?
It wasn't there.
Oh,
Thank
I'm gonna
you.
have your back, girl.
Thank you.
So
I
Anetta,
appreciate
let me
it.
ask you this: did he pull up with this young lady?
I'm not gonna talk about the young lady because it's actually somebody that I know very well.
Spill the tea.
No, I'm not. I don't want to talk about her,
Tell
but
the
it came
truth.
through.
Was she cute?
She's very pretty.
Oh, okay.
Okay, okay, Willie.
Okay.
You don't know no better.
It's
And
nothing.
I bet you it was a headshot was deceiving if we asked her.
No.
Yeah, brutal.
yeah, they are. Yes, they are, man.
I told him, I said,
That
I'm gonna talk
that
about you
limp,
on the show. I told him I
that
was gonna
limp
talk about
probably
it.
messed her up.
Oh, you look here.
Listen, don't come for me when I'm not on the show. That's all.
What you say,
Oh
Lakia? What
my
messed her up?
gosh.
That limp.
Mm-mm.
Moving
I
along.
said it. I put it out there.
I'm not a speechless. Oh wow.
I'm gonna sign off.
No, moving along to number 3, and this is going to stir some emotions. If a person pays a woman's bills, give her money, gets her hair and nails done in return for a sexual relationship, could this be considered prostitution?
Absolutely. Sure. Call it what you want.
Then if that's the case, then it's a lot of wives that are prostitutes.
Exactly.
Ooh. Oh
And
shit.
there's a lot of husbands that are tricks.
Right. So I just think that question is just so, I think it's just so, I don't know. I think it's an immature question because I feel like this. I do as much as a man would do for me, I would do for him. And I love men watches. So I would buy, I mean, I have a friend I'm totally in love with. And I get, ooh, did I say that out loud?
Yes, you did.
Oh,
I need a new watch.
and so I buy him watches when I see him, and I'll do stuff for him because did I say that out loud?
Yes, Lord.
So I have to catch myself sometime because you got to know your love language, and some people love language is to be givers. Some people love language is affirmation. Some people love language is to touch. So you got to know your love language. So I don't never like category stuff like, oh, you a prostitute or oh, you what. I think when you go out on a date with somebody and they spend $300 or $400 at a restaurant and they're expecting something physical in return, I think that's kind of weird for me. But again, the society we live in, everything is so sexually concept that, people will believe that. But I don't really think that way about a male and a female because I think as adults, we establish our relationships based on organic communication. And so if somebody say, hey, I got this for you. I mean, I've had men that I wasn't in a relationship had bought me red bottoms, bought me a Gucci purse. And they never got no sexual favors. Heck, did they ever get a hug? I'm not even sure.
I can understand that aspect because I've done things like that for women. I'll see something I like. Oh, hey, you know what? Let me send this to somebody. Let me send this to somebody. So I've done that. But similar to you, Annetta, that's how I get down. I don't expect it. Not looking for anything. If I shoot you something, it's a gift from the kindness of my heart. But I'm going follow up what you said. I think this question was asked outside of the context of marriage. And to your point, yes, I absolutely agree. There's men who should be taking care of the significant other and women too. So I'm going to take the marriage component and set it aside just for this particular question and look at it from the standpoint of two people in a non-monogamous relationship and ask the same question. And I'm going to say no, because if that's their relationship and that's the expectations they've set for each other, then I'm all for it. It's like Saria used to say, there's no harm with a fair exchange or something to that nature. So I don't have a problem with it. If that's what your agreement is, if you had it notarized, nod wink,
Notarized.
There you go.
get it done.
I just want
Get
to
it
see the
done.
letter come out the pocket. Is the condom folded up in it, or like where does it? Where you hold this letter? And
As my man once said, hey, he aiming to shoot up the club, but it's already been notarized. We gonna have that. There's no protection, and what happens. But I'm just not signing up to be a daddy.
I want to know what state they do this in the most. I'm gonna be a mobile notary, and I'm gonna work late nights.
You can get just about anything notarized. I mean, that's 6 and 1/2 a dozen of another. What I'm simply saying is the notarization between two is just like an IOU. If you take an IOU to court and both parties are signed, it will stand up. Now, what the judge rules is different. And I understand the family court system. That's what I'm simply saying. The notarization lets it be known that both parties entered into this agreement.
So you'll have more favor. The notion
Somebody
is that
can't
you'll
say
have more
that they
favor.
that they were tricked, that they didn't know that this was this. It's laid out, spelled out, said, look, on this night, this individual and I, we did this, we agreed to this, and afterwards this is black and white. You don't need no testimony. The paperwork stands for itself. The judge don't need to speak to the defendant. The judge don't need to speak to the plaintiff. Not saying that he won't or she won't, but it's here. That's why people sign legal contracts.
Mhm.
Y'all notarized shit.
Hey, I've learned a few things, working in businesses and dealing with security and certain things, man. Just like when we did concerts, they had what they would call a writer. And for those of you who are in that aspect, you'll understand what a writer is. A writer simply spells out the terms that entertainment group wants done. So you had, like, case in point, I did security for Dionne Warwick. Dionne Warwick would stop a show mid-song if she saw somebody videotaping. No questions asked. That was in the writer. She could do that. So when we were doing security, we had to be real vigilant about people recording. And you have some people that are like that. You have some people that don't care. So like I said, I learned a lot of things, man. Protect your neck. Wu-Tang used to say, man, protect your neck. Hey, if you ain't gonna do it, don't expect anyone else to do it.
Well, see, for me, for this whole prostitution thing, it boils down to, as my grandmother would say, shit, you do right by people who do right by you. So it goes hand in hand. If somebody's doing something for you and you, it's just natural. You do right by people who do right by you. If it's lopsided or seem like it's a major imbalance, then there's something wrong with that situation. If somebody's always giving and putting out and the other person doesn't do shit, then it's you automatically it's going to be some issues with that relationship and those dynamics. All right, little man, time to go to bed. All right, now rock-a-bye, baby.
I know what you. Well, my thing is my comment on that is, like with my guy, I would say you would have to do things just together in a flow where what belongs to him belongs to me.
Yeah.
What belongs to me
That seems like it's always been like that.
I'm joking. But no, it should just go with the flow. It shouldn't even be something that you would go into overthinking with. You should be able to just be what you need to be for each other.
Okay. But I was waiting for your other line that what belongs to me.
Yeah, go ahead. Okay, it just hung up. Yeah.
Thought you was gonna say what belongs to me. Him belongs to me, but what belongs to me belongs to me, or something.
I was waiting for that shoe to drop too.
I was just joking.
Hey, I ain't mad at you if you can get it like that.
I mean, it goes both ways.
Let me put this out there. If a woman can get it like that, more power to you. I am not going to stand in the way of anybody getting what they can get. If you can negotiate that and he's amenable to it, do you. That's a dub. Put that in your back pocket, keep it moving. Because it's not always going to happen like that for everybody. And some men can negotiate that. Some men can negotiate that. Some people have to work with what they're given. If you have the intellect and the knowledge and the ability to pull it off, do you. I think we need to get past a point of where we're shaming people for using either the God-given looks that they've developed, the intellect, or the ability to manipulate. I think those things have been shamed to the point where people are afraid to display their talents and abilities. I'm not doing that. If I see somebody getting over on somebody and the individual knows, it's not my business to say anything. If somebody's willing to pay for your Louis Vuittons, your Gucci, and you ain't giving up nothing, I want to know what the secret is. Because hey, I might need to profit from it one day. I might need to use it one day.
But
Let
it
me
may
let me
not.
see her.
But Herb, it may not just be a secret. I've learned in this season in my life that because I'm a giver, it comes back to me. And it may not come back to me in monetary, but even with me moving, people have reached out to help. People have extended their words of encouragement, all types of stuff. So it comes back. You know what I'm saying? I have
No,
had that.
I understand what you're saying. I'm just speaking it.
But somebody, if I'm dating somebody, that's different. If I'm dating you and you know what I'm saying, I'm giving and you're not giving, I need to
Yeah,
reevaluate. I
yeah,
don't care
that's what I'm
how
talking
giving
about.
I may be. I need to reevaluate because there's some red flags there. Okay,
Mhm,
it's an imbalance. So you have to understand that. And as sometimes I'll say, as women, we are givers because we're nurturers.
mhm.
Okay. And some men are not used to women giving to them like that. I do realize that. Some men are not used to that because they're used to just providing.
Mhm. Yeah, I was just speaking in the aspect of reciprocation not being done. So that's why I was take what you do and I put that aside because there's a lot less people who do that than there is that does. You have a lot of people that are, what's in it for me before they even think about anything else. Well, how am I going to profit from it? And they never see the long game, which is what you're operating with. And it takes some self-reflection and some good fortune to give and to be in a position to give and not have to worry about your bottom line being hurt. And I think that's what a lot of people exhibit, especially some men who are financially struggling. They don't want to feel like they're being victimized. And I would say it's hard to be victimized if you don't put yourself in a position to be victimized. And and I tell anybody, the first thing you have to do is be honest with yourself. Are you in a position financially, emotionally, spiritually to do what somebody's asking without that hurting you? And if you are not, then just simply say, you know what? I can't do it. And if that individual wants to be mad, then you probably know that's not an individual that you should be dealing with when you're in that particular situation. You only go around that individual when you're tight with whatever it is that individual's upset that you have. It's there's a movie called Friends with Money, and it talks about this particular situation. You had three different couples. They were all at different economic levels in their life. Some wanted to go here, some couldn't afford to. They would tell them, and that couple would get mad. And it was just like, why? You're getting mad at somebody for not having the financial influence and affluence that you do. And I just personally, I just find that funny. It reminds me of when I was in college. And I had to go home and work on the weekends because I didn't have money like that. But when I had money during the week, there would be some people who were like, well, how the hell do you get money? Well, when you go out to the Alpha party or to the Sigma party, I go home and work. So I'm sacrificing the party so I can have a few pennies in my pocket during the week. So the question becomes, what is an individual willing to give thinking on the back end? Because there will be times where especially college students, you understand is towards the end of the semester when you were running low on your food credits. I leave you alone, man. I'm cooking. Come on, get some. Word, you ain't got to pay nothing, man. I'm sharing it because I got it like that.
You know my slogan, Herb. Can I get a goddamn sandwich? Can I get a damn sandwich? Because sometimes you can't get a damn sandwich from a woman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
And I ain't trying to make it
it's
seem
like
like I'm greedy as hell, but damn, that's just a small thing. I ain't even say what kind of sandwich. Can I get a sandwich?
it's like you say, KYP, man. If you know you got And this is what I was trying to advise men to do. If you find a female, doesn't matter if you bed her or not, if you're trying to, whatever the case, if you find a female who's willing to give up something without asking anything in return, keep that female on your team. Not only is she worth her weight in gold, when nobody else is willing to come through for you, she's probably gonna come through for you. We have a lot of guys who cut women off
Come on.
because they won't do certain things.
You know that
Hey,
I'm ready
look,
to go in on this. You know we're ready to go in on this one, right, Herb?
go ahead. I'm only telling you what I know as a 50-year-old man, what I've experienced as a 50-year-old man.
Because
It's
you
not
is that
personal.
before your 100 questions or after? Would that be is that before your 99 questions or after? Because that would be one
I
of your
don't even
questions
think this
probably.
one got the questions, Lakita, because Lakita, I don't think she got
They
the
got the
question
mute.
because the way he sound, there's some sincerity in it. Like, yo, if she got my back and she gonna have me no matter what it is, rain, sleet, or snow, keep her on the team. She
That's all
loyal.
I'm saying. I don't know how you got this as an attack.
I'm just really surprised by
I
that
love
answer.
it.
But
I love it. I love it.
Listen, you got to understand. I have female friends that I can call, and if I need something, they'll do it. I don't abuse it though, and I think that's what a lot of people need to understand. We have people that have abused certain things to the point where it just gets pulled away from them. And when you do that as a man, females have long memories for whatever reason, and they say, "No, I'm not helping you out." Yo, why you doing any other time? I'm just pulling the rug. You no longer get the welcome mat when you come to my house. You can run into a Shauna and see she's gonna block you out the phone.
Mm.
This is what a lot of guys have to understand is the finer aspects of what we call game. And I'm gonna drop some knowledge here for you younger fellas. Stop trying to bed every chick you come in contact with. Just stop. Keep some on your squad because they're cool. Keep some on your squad because they can help you. Keep some on your squad just for the simple fact that you might have a concert that you want to go to that ain't nobody else gonna go to. You could bring it with you. She gonna make you look good.
Pun
Learn.
intended.
No, not for me anyway. I'm just simply saying, learn how. If you gonna ask Rolo Tomasi, shout out to Rolo Tomasi. If you gonna spin plates, aka deal with multiple women, make sure you got a well-rounded roster. Make sure you got one that might cook for you. As Dave say, make sure you got one that might give you a sandwich. Make sure that if you need something, you got one that might come over and help you out with it. You gotta abuse it. And in turn, if she call you and she needs something, you can do it. Reciprocate. Have that balance in your life. That's all I'm
See,
telling you.
I learned this when I was in college, and I always tell this story too. I said I wrote one paper in undergrad. I typed out one paper. I wrote all my papers, but I only typed out one paper. And once I got that paper back, and it had all these damn errors and all that stuff, I think I got a 35. So I understood the power of collaboration, and basically I would have, and if any of them listening, they'll say, "Oh, he ain't lying." If he had a 12-page paper, 15-page paper, it would be 6 or 7 of them, and they would all do 2 pages each, whatever. So it made sure I got that. In return, because we were broke college students, well, I had friends that didn't go to college and they worked and did whatever they did. That if they wanted to go out, they wanted to drink, all of that stuff was taken care of. They didn't have to worry about that. So that's what happened for me in college, whatever. So I milked it. They would work together. They're like, "Oh, we got to do this. Dave got a paper due, whatever," because they knew It's sort of like a barter system. Whatever y'all do this, then at the end of the week, y'all can go out free. We will supply the drinks and all that stuff, and it worked for me. And I got my bachelor's. Mm. Strange.
Hey, but better understand, fellas. It's the world, and literally the world is um, pardon the expression. How it's sound. The world is a beautiful place. The question is, do you want to add to your beauty, or do you want to take from your beauty? Me, I'm always about adding to my beauty. If I got something of it and I like it, I'm gonna add more. That's why I have 4 cats. My cats, I adore my cats. That's why I go out there looking for the one that I took in this past winter because I like them. It was at a situation in my life where I had to deal with the paternity issue. Cat came in. It was for me. It was a sense of solace. Didn't ask for anything. Kept it warm, fed it, kept me company. The room that I'm sitting in now is the room that I slept in pretty much all winter, so that cat wouldn't be by itself. Now I'll look out for the cat. The cat, I call it divine intervention. Call it whatever you want to. They say cats adopt humans and not the other way around. And that's one of the reasons why I call that cat shadow. Just mysteriously appeared out of nowhere. Didn't know why. Didn't know it was going to happen like that. And I love that cat. I got still getting spayed and neutered because he's out here running amok, creating other kittens. But that's why I'm out. I'm adding to my life. I add things that are simple. Don't necessarily complicate my life. They bring me an element of what I consider beauty. I'm good with it.
All right. So we're gonna move on to the last point, whatever. This might ruffle a little feathers too, but it was brought up in the counselor's corner as well. But the one thing I want to know, why do not all, there's no absolutes, but why do some black women supervisors have problems with black female coworkers? And actually, we talked about this before the show last week, Herb, if you remember when
Yes.
Josie came on and she was saying that she was having issues with that. And then I think somebody else had mentioned it in the counselor's corner as well. What's the deal with that?
Ladies, y'all can have this one. I really don't have much insight into this one.
We finally got something speechless.
It's not speechless. I think that I don't know. I've been in management positions probably the majority of my career. I think the concerns, not really issues, because I manage different. The concerns that we tend to have with the same is because they like to challenge the authority, or they want to. You my sister girl. I'm not nobody friend at work. Absolutely nobody. I'm not your friend at work, and I'm not your friend after work. I'm just not. And that's because boundaries have to be set. At the end of the day, I'm the one that's signing the time card. I'm the one that's signing the time sheets. I'm the one that had to sit down and do reviews with you. I'm the one that had to do peer reviews. I'm the one that had to approve your time off, vacation, and PTO, and all that. Because all of that has such a role in the relationship, the work relationship, I don't think that, you should be that friendly on that basis.
Mm-hmm.
Because that just opens up a Pandora box full of things. And I think sometimes we, play that. We got to admit, sometimes we play that black card on each other. And you be like, just because we're a sister, I'm supposed to let that pass? No, your lunch break is 30 minutes. It's not 45. It's not an hour.
Oh,
It's 30 minutes. You know what I'm saying? So I think sometimes people kind of, they play that game. And then the first thing I want to say is, oh, a brother and sister get up there. They don't want to look out. No, I'm not looking out for stupidity. I'm not looking out for unprofessionalism. I'm not looking out for somebody who's just doing something just to get by. No, I'm going to look out for those who are doing the right thing, following policies, following the procedures, and they're doing effective work, period.
And I can agree. I can agree with that. Like when you have a black male supervisor and you have black males, I mean, I believe in you go to bat, you go to work for that person. Don't act indifferent because it's somebody that looks like you and think like, oh, I ain't gonna come to work. I ain't gonna do shit while I'm here. You go to work and you try to make that person better as a supervisor by having his back, because hopefully in return he's gonna build you up to get to that level. And I think that's what it's about, trying to build each other up. If I shine, you shine. But all too often you may have people that try to take advantage of that situation, or you have people that try to control or dictate everything. And again, we always talk about balance, whatever. So again, you got to know what makes people tick, and you got to, and if it's somebody you working under, and if they're the same color, same gender, just go to work, do what you do best. And I guarantee you, if they're shining, hopefully you'll shine as well. And you just never know what opportunities that could create if everybody's working together in harmony. So anybody else? Everybody jumping on, jumping off tonight.
no, I concur with that because you not only do you see that among coworkers, you'll see that among people who are actually trying to patronize your services, and to me, that's really egregious. People think that people got positions just because of who they knew, and sometimes that's the case. You'll get a position because the person knows your qualifications, not because they actually just know you. So they know when the schedule says 9 o'clock, you're going to be there at 9 o'clock. If not, you can be there a little early. Just like Annetta was saying, if your break is 30 minutes, you're going to be back in 30 minutes. She's not going to have to chase you down. You're not going to have to chase this individual down. They know you're going to do what you're supposed to do. When you're supposed to do it, it's going to be done appropriately. So you don't have to stand there and actually look over the shoulder to ensure that the individual is doing their job. So, and I think this hurts us more than most ethnic groups because we don't seem to adhere to a certain standard across the board. We want preferential treatment, even though we haven't earned preferential treatment. We want CEO treatment. We just entry level people, and it's just like, yo, you're replaceable. Anybody's replaceable. Even the CEO is replaceable. So we always need to operate with a sense of urgency and decorum.
And then, I think also it's about loyalty to each other, which seems to be absence in a lot of our interactions, that people are not loyal and dedicated to each other. And I think once we realize that it's okay to be loyal to someone, and I'm not just talking about relationship wise, it could be, like I said, a working professional relationship, that's going to help you grow. That's going to help you grow, and you can get places on that level. But a lot of times, we see it when you're trying to build a platform and all that stuff. You have some people that's going to be loyal and faithful to you, but other people, maybe not until they see the benefit for themselves. Or, they want to jump on the bandwagon once stuff starts, seem like it's on the rise, but why don't we practice loyalty to each other without looking for direct benefits? Just a question, because I think even in the workplace, sometimes you have somebody in the position and us are the same color, get that person the hardest damn time. And you're like, damn, how come you don't want to go to bat for this individual?
They may not have earned it. They may have burned a bridge one too many times. And when you do that, that's the outcome. And a lot of people, they think they have unlimited safety nets just because they might know you. And when things don't break their way, the first thing when they want to do is they want to point fingers at everybody except themselves. And it's just like, yo, partner, you put me in a bind to where it was either going to be you losing your job or me. Every time you're going to lose out.
Yeah. So it's just one of those subject matters. Like I said, I had Josie, she was in our panel last week, and she had mentioned it, and then someone else had mentioned something, so it was a topic worthy of discussing. But we know how it is. Some days some things light a fire, and then some things it just people sweep it under the rug and try to move on. But I just see that it's just basic human interaction with folks. I always look at it as I'm gonna try to be the best that I could be, and I want to be fair and equitable to everybody, and hopefully you end up getting good results. And that's not always the case with some people. They always trying to get over or whatever the case is for not putting in the effort. So it's just one of those dilemmas that we face. Anybody else want to add? I'm not going to belabor the point because, like I said, I had a long weekend.
Nope. For me, I think it's wing time.
All right, so we can do some closing comments and get out of here. Hey, Willie A. Price speaks half the truth. Oh, where you at? Where you at? But they coming for you. I told you they was gonna come. You did a no show, no call today. You love Monday nights.
Hey, I wonder if he's playing that Atlantic Star song in the background, Secret Lovers, while he's holding hands. I'm just asking.
I don't know, man. I don't know. But no, I don't. We make light, we joke a lot, around a lot. Who knows? I mean, I hope everything is well with the brother, and he's not locked in to come. Sometimes you just can't make it, but I'm gonna always lean on somebody, talk crap, whatever. But I hope everything is good with him because
he do, because he inboxed me. It was a no show, no call.
Yeah. So
that's what we doing now.
I hope everything is well with him. Like you said, he always loved Monday night, so it's kind of odd for him not to show up at all. But
he ain't show up because I seen him sitting on the crime pig in the grass.
You saw him and her sitting on the lawn. They were holding hands.
Hurt, look, hurt.
Y'all got me. Y'all ain't right, man.
All right, closing comments. about any of the subject matter that we talked about tonight.
This is my bop. My bops keep me emotionally centered. So when I say Godspeed, see you next time. Yeah, see you next time. Me and this is Lucky. Lucky wants to get down.
Mm,
Y'all be good. Take care of each other.
Stay
all right.
focused. Think about yourself. Self-care is important. Love on you before you try to embrace someone else's love, because you have to understand the true capacity of love. The most important thing is the airplane safety mode. Oxygen yourself before you attempt to oxygen anyone else.
All right. I don't know what Shaughnessy, she might be doing bedtime stories right now. She been on froze mode. But for me, again, I always talk, know your personnel, be consistent, and always think about your reaction to others. What you want for yourself, you should want for others. Uh,
Mhm.
so don't think you could change it up and then think, oh, it's going to come back and they're going to be different towards you. Like I always talk about too, greater than, less than, equal. If you give me greater, I'm going to give you greater. You give me less than, I'm going to give you less than. You give me equal, I'm going to give you equal. You need to think about these facts when you interact. I don't give a damn what emotions you're going through. Understand the person, that not everybody's lumped into the same level of response to say, oh, when I'm like this, anybody could get it. Anybody could get it, and you give off that same energy to everybody. You better think about that person that you're talking, that you're dealing with, and say, hey, I better get my shit together because I know I shouldn't respond to that person like that because they've been a rock to me. I don't think people they think everybody is too many people go on that phrase, everybody equal, ain't nobody better than others. Some people deserve more, and understand that. Can't block them. Can't block Granny. All that stuff, whatever. Some people deserve more, and that's what we have to think about. With that said, about to get out of here. Thank you all that was in the chat and who came on the panel. See you next time. Hey, Willie, they looking for you. They looking for you. That's all I gotta say. All right, everybody. Good night. See you next time. Peace.